Oh yeah, what up guys? Welcome to the SATS Show, your beginner-friendly guide to saving in Bitcoin. Like the thumbnail today, superhero. You're a Bitcoin superhero if you're stacking sats. Man, I just heard something today. It's pretty awesome. Smoking is bad for your health, and saving in dollars is bad for your wealth. Boom, let's go. What's up, Leonard? What up, Carl? Very cool. Nice to have you guys in here. Thanks for tuning in. Captain Dan in the house. Let's go. Very cool. All right. Keeping it super basic today, guys. Excited to be here. Captain Dan tuning in. You're making our... You're helping us blow away our average viewers. Yes, success. Whoa, let's go, Carl. Oh, Nightbot just said what? No spamming. Carl, Moon. That's funny. That's funny. Oh, hold on, let me fix the Nightbot, Carl. That Nightbot just going crazy on you. It's been a while. It's a good thing we're doing it now. Nightbot just straight up checked you, bro. Let me fix it, and then you can type in what you typed in again, without fearing the Nightbot. The Nightbot wrath of the Nightbot, dude. Okay, getting in there. That's so funny. Give me a second. Let's see. Giveaways, regulars, spam protection. What do you say? Stop spamming symbols. Here we go. Disable. All right. I had to check Nightbot. Okay, Nightbot's back. What up, Salty Dangler in the house? Let's go. Nightbot's got up on the wrong side of the computer, I guess. Super funny. Cool. All right. First order of business. Now that go ahead and tap in what you were going to tap in, Carl. I checked Nightbot and I disabled that feature, so we should be good to go. First order of business. We're just going to stack today, guys. I put a Bitcoin superhero on the thumbnail today because it's a big deal to be stacking sats. You know, slow and steady. We are sharing the information, and I want to continue to slow leak the data. If you want to jump ahead, and get more familiar with Bitcoin than I am, that'd be fantastic. I wouldn't mind that. I have a bunch of resources on our StackSats Show Discord server, but they're also linked in the description of this video. Okay, so if you want to join that Discord server, !, Discord in the chat. I think. Let me try it. It'll take you to the StackSats Show Discord. And yeah, so if you're watching, if you're a first time watcher and you haven't subscribed yet, hit subscribe, say hello in the chat, and I'm gonna send you 1,000 sats today live during the stream. If you're watching a replay and you're like, dang, I missed out, no, come back tomorrow or on one of our regular episodes, 8:15 Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Come back, say hello in the chat. I'm gonna send you 1,000 sats over the show. Captain Dan got his 1,000 sats today. He's all set up on Wallet of Satoshi for now, and he's got his, I call them play sats, because Wallet of Satoshi, guys, it's a good way to hold sats that you kind of don't mind losing, because at any point, remember, if it's not your keys, not your crypto. So Wallet of Satoshi is a service by the Wallet of Satoshi operators. If they decide to go out of business or they go out of business, the sats that are in that wallet are kind of in their wallet. Okay. So, but it's super convenient to have them on Wallet of Satoshi, because you could just whip it out and send somebody sats and use it for like online stuff, right? It's a convenient way to have like you know how you have petty cash in a business, you have cash just in the register, and you use that to get change or make change. Well, same thing. Think of Wallet of Satoshi that way. That Wallet of Satoshi is not a place where you would store anything beyond like $50 worth of Bitcoin. Okay, like I have at any given point I try to keep about 30 about 20 to 30 bucks worth of Bitcoin in my wallet of Satoshi, so that I can give Bitcoin to friends. And also, if I ever run into the, I'm gonna call it the what do we call it before, the miracle vendor, or like if I ever run into like a street vendor, or like an ice cream man, or like a elote salesman, or like a tamale salesman, or like a taco guy that accepts Bitcoin, I'm gonna blow my whole wallet of Satoshi balance on whatever they're selling if they accept Bitcoin over Lightning. Okay. Anyway, the whole point of using wallet of Satoshi, guys, is so you guys get familiar with using the Lightning Network. The Lightning Network is a protocol that's built on top of Bitcoin. Okay, you're still using Bitcoin on the Lightning Network, but it makes it so that you can use it instantly and without that many fees. Like the fees are so small. Sometimes the fees are just like 1 sat, right? But it makes it more usable. Think of it as if you think of it in internet terms, the internet is the TCP IP level, right? It's the connection, the IP address, the transfer control protocol, TCP, and then on top of that, you run different applications like your web browser, your voice over IP phone, your Discord, right? All that stuff is running on top of a network. It's running on top of the TCP IP network. And think of the Lightning Network. It's as running on top of the TCP IP base layer. Okay, that's why Lightning is called a layer 2. Okay, but it's not Lightning coin. It's not anything different. It's actually still works with. It's actually using the Bitcoin. Bitcoin itself. It's not using its own coin. It's actual Bitcoin. The Satoshi is still part of a Bitcoin, right? So anyway, that was a weird intro, but let's go with it. Let's get the show started with our normal segment, and that is SATS strength. How many Bitcoin can you buy today for a single dollar? $1 right now will buy you 3,420 Bitcoin. So, no, not Bitcoin. I'm sorry, Satoshis, fractions of a Bitcoin. What the heck is a Satoshi? A Satoshi is to Bitcoin as a penny is to the dollar. 100 pennies gives you $1. 100 million Satoshis makes 1 Bitcoin. And why is that important? It's important because it lets you understand that you don't have to buy one whole Bitcoin at $29,235. You just buy some, however many Satoshis you can worth of dollar that you want to spend. Does that make sense? No. You can buy $10 worth. You can buy $1. You'll get some SATS, which is just as good as Bitcoin. It's just fractions of a Bitcoin. Eventually, you'll get to 100 million. You'll be a whole coiner. You'll have 100 million Satoshis, which is equivalent to 1 Bitcoin. Okay. All right. That said, if you're walking down the street, minding your own business, you look down, you see a penny, pick it up, and all the day you'll have 34.23 Satoshis. Sorry. Let's go. So for 1 penny right now, you can buy 34 sats. Okay. Sounds crazy, right? Someday, as a Satoshi gets closer to parity with a cent, if Bitcoin hits $1 million, if the price of 1 Bitcoin hits $1 million, your SAT will be in parity with the dollar. So it'll be worth 1 penny. So 1 SAT could be worth 1 penny. Can you imagine? Crazy, right? That's why we're stacking, guys. We're stacking as much as we can. If that ever were to happen, or when it happens, we'll see. And Bitcoin is worth $1 million, then 1 Satoshi will be worth 1 penny. Isn't that wild? That's wild. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, that is a SAT strength. Next, we're going to jump into a segment we like to call Why We Stack. And I kind of already went into it a little bit in the intro. Just a little bit of information goes a long way. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. The idea of Bitcoin gives you superpowers. I thought it was a cool thing to speak on today. It gives you the ability to like zap, I guess you call it to zap, or to shoot off, or to send, to transact through space, right? To transact through like long distances without a third party in the way taking their cut. To it gives the ability to transact without anybody's permission, right? You don't need to have anybody's permission to, like, if I wanted to send Salty 1,000 sats over the thing, nobody's gonna stop me, right? I don't need to be YouTube monetized to accept 1,000 sats. I don't need to be you know what I mean? There's no gatekeeping. There's no restrictions, right? There's no need for me to even have a bank if I was operating in a full Bitcoin standard, right? That's pretty powerful because it allows people that wouldn't have access to a bank, as long as they have a phone with internet, they can be their own banks, right? Being your own bank means you have to have the responsibility to understand how Bitcoin works and be able to store that and be able to safely store it and understand how it works and protect your seed phrase and all that good stuff, right? So that's why I have the superhero logo up there, the superhero screenshot or the thumbnail, because I thought it was pretty cool. It gives you the ability to cut out the middlemen and use your money when you want to use it without anybody's permission, and you don't need to wait for a bank to open to make a withdrawal, or you don't have to wait and get clarification or fill out special documentation because you decide you want to send a friend or you want to buy something from somebody. You want to send them $10,000, or I think the limit now is like close to $5,000. If you're in a normal traditional bank account, if you try to send somebody $5,000 or withdraw that amount or deposit that amount, it might be $10,000. You have to go through this whole process of filling out this crazy paperwork because somebody might be doing some illegal stuff that has nothing to do with you, but they use that as a mechanism to get some sort of acceptability and to get you to comply with these ridiculous things that shouldn't matter. Like, if it's your money, you shouldn't need anybody's permission to use it. If it's your money, you shouldn't need anybody's permission to withdraw. If it's your money, you should need to do additional documentation or fill out any paperwork just to let somebody know where the money came from. It's none of their damn business, right? Where that money came from. I know. I don't do illegal I don't do illegal things, right? If somebody else does illegal things and they get prosecuted and they get convicted of doing illegal things, yeah, fine. Go monitor the transactions, go monitor the activity. But because there's a potential to do crime, doesn't mean that I'm a criminal. Doesn't mean that I'm doing illegal stuff. So why should I have to give up some of my privacy for the sake of that, right? It just doesn't make sense to me. So anyway, that's a totally completely different rant. Totally completely different rant. But that's the idea. Like, Bitcoin gives you sovereignty. It gives you that ability to control your wealth, right? Anyway, let's get back to the show. Cheers. All right. Let's go back to the next segment of the show. If you guys have any questions during the show, please do type in the chat, and I will answer those questions. If you are curious about where I'm buying Bitcoin, I'm using Swan Bitcoin. If you go to swanbitcoin.com/Roman Stacks, you'll get $10 of free Bitcoin when you sign up. You can also type in Swan into the chat and get a link. You can go to, there it is. Oh, just typed it in for me. It just actually did it on a timer. There you go. Swan. StackSatsShow.com/. Oh, that's a Discord. Yeah. So Swan will come up in a second. StackSatsShow.com/Swan. There it is. If you're already stacking and you have a certain amount of Bitcoin that you need to learn how to store on your wallet, because once you buy it, don't leave it on the exchange. Even though Swan Bitcoin is reputable, the process and the good I guess you call it good Bitcoin hygiene is to, once your transactions clear, you need to get that Bitcoin off of the exchange and put it into your into a wallet that you control the seed phrase for. Okay, at that point, that Bitcoin is untouchable. At that point, you're the superhero. At that point is when nobody can take that away from you unless you willingly give it up, or if somebody finds your seed phrase that you didn't hide well enough, right? Anyway, but yeah, that's the point where your wealth that you've put into Bitcoin becomes protected and away from the reach of anybody, governments, politicians, inflation, your own family, even, right? So the only way that Bitcoin can be spent is if you approve an outgoing transaction. Okay, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right. With that said, I think that's pretty good for the Why We Stack segment. I also wanted to show you guys something pretty cool that I found the other day, and I thought you guys might enjoy it. Cheers! I still have this thumbnail because I think it's hilarious. So this is a scene from one of my favorite movies, Bloodsport, and here's the antagonist of the show antagonist of the movie trying to sock this guy in the face, starting to sock Jean-Claude Van Damme in the face when after he put some stuff that's supposed to make him go blind while it's the fight, but he reverted back to his training, and his training is, I guess, his Bitcoin, and that stopped the sucker punch of inflation coming out his face. So I took this idea and I made my own meme based off of this, and I came up with this meme. I think mine is better. Boom! Here's another movie scene from a movie called Kickboxer. Again, another one of the most best movies you could ever watch. There's a bad guy back there trying to I guess double fist smash this dude Jean-Claude's face, and he's representing inflation, and then Jean-Claude's got his Bitcoin with his laser eyes where he can see what's happening now, and he just like blocks that face crushing move. I thought it'd be pretty cool to share that with you guys, to get you guys pumped and motivated. Let's go. So yeah, anyway, another thing I wanted to share with you guys today is I found this pretty cool thing. It's like, it basically since the way Bitcoin works, all of the transactions, all of the wallets and stuff, all that stuff is public, right? And the whole point, the whole reason for it being public is that it's auditable, right? All of the nodes on the network agree that every account has that same amount of Bitcoin, right? If there's a discrepancy, they have to go figure it out and see which chain is the longest one, and then the whole Bitcoin system, the whole Bitcoin money system, gets audited every 10 minutes, right? So there's it's got the most, I guess, visibility or transparency when it comes to like any kind of money. Okay. So anyway, since all that information is available, you have cool apps like this that go through and actually make the transactions. But I thought it'd be a cool visual aid for you guys to understand a little bit about how Bitcoin works. So when you go and try to make a Bitcoin transaction, which is usually you're sending Bitcoin somewhere, right? You create a transaction that you want the Bitcoin network to process. Okay, the Bitcoin network is limited to how many transactions it can process every 10 minutes. Okay, and that's represented in the form of a block, right? And the block can only fit so many transactions that for those 10 minutes, right? So you have a waiting, kind of like a waiting area, like a memory pool, where all of the pending transactions are waiting, right? And then you have the block that pulls from those pending transactions, but it gives priority to whoever's paying more per, I guess it's called V byte, which is like the amount of space in that block, right? Of like computer space, so like memory space. And so the fees per V byte kind of like go up as demand for running transactions goes up. So if there's a lot of transactions happening, the space on the block becomes more expensive, and it takes a little bit more fees to run your transaction, right? But I thought this is kind of cool the way they display it here. And I thought it'd be also kind of cool to kind of look through some of these transactions and see what the range of these different transactions are, right? So you got these little tiny ones, like these little tiny ones here. Like that one's for $17.94. So it's about 0.0006114 Bitcoin. Like, right? It's gonna cost 1,826 SATS in fees to process 17.94. So he's paying about 40 cents, about 40 or 50 cents to process a $18 transaction, right? And then you have like this big block here. This one is for 147 Bitcoin, which is about $4.33 million. And that fee is going to cost 1,296 sats, right? So you're probably wondering, okay, the guy that's transferring $4.3 million is paying less fees than the guy that's transferring $18. Well, yeah, because when you're paying for the fees on the block, you're not paying a percentage of what you're transferring. You're paying for the 1v1 me, bro. You're paying for the space, the memory space on the block to write your transaction on, right? So it's pretty wild. Like, can you imagine what it would cost you to transfer $4.3 million in our traditional finance system? Like, you'd probably be even 1% of that is like a ton of money, right? Like, you're losing a lot of money just in moving your money around, right? Well, with Bitcoin, you can move $4.3 million for the fee of about 1,200 sats or 1,300 sats, which is about 35 cents, right? It's pretty incredible, right? So that's a little bit of the potential. Look at this giant block over here. How much is that? Well, 4.7, almost $5 million. This guy's gonna pay 37,000 in sats, probably because he has 21 outputs. So it's going to he's writing a lot more to the block, because that 4.7 million is going to 21 different wallets, right? This other guy, he just had 2 outputs. See that? So it takes a lot less space on the block to write this transaction in. Okay. Luckily, I never have to deal with transferring 4.2. Not yet, Salty. Not yet. Anyway, it's a really cool technology, and when you start thinking about the possibilities of it in different phases of life, or different aspects of our lives, you think about how people get ripped. Think about people that don't have bank accounts, right? That are maybe even here illegally, right? Working and sending money home. They can't have a bank account, right? So they have to pay these crazy fees to send money back home to places like MoneyGram and those kind of places where they charge a huge percentage just to transfer money. So if you get this kind of technology, like the benefits of that to the country that's receiving those, because they're called remittance payments, to the country that's getting those, it's like a tax. It's like an additional tax on people that are probably the worst off in society. Do people play with this stuff all day like stocks, day traders? Some people do, Captain Dan. You can as the price of Bitcoin moves up and down, you can try to find like the 1% chance where you get in a trade and you make a little bit of money and then you sell it high and you buy it again low. But the odds of doing that are kind of stacked against you because the markets are going to do what the markets do. It's a psychological play. And the best way, since it is trending up over time, is to just buy it and hold it. Unless you want to have like a full-time job monitoring it and trying to keep track of like the news and become basically like a finance expert. Even those guys have a little chance of beating the market, I guess you could say, right? A good video for that, Captain Dan, is in our Discord server for the StackSats show under videos. I'm gonna copy and paste it into the chat real quick. Maybe you can queue it up and watch it later, sometime this week or something. It's a great presentation by Michael Saylor. Kind of goes into like how the odds of you beating the market. You have to have like the best. You have to have like the top 1% trade, and even then, it's like you have to have the top 1% trade. Yeah, cool. Yeah, check it out. It's hard for me to summarize the whole thing, but it's really well done. All right. With that said, let's jump in to the Stack Recap. Almost forgot we're doing a show over here, guys. Come on. Don't let me get carried away. I think it's too late. Stack Recap. There it is. All right. So we started buying Bitcoin back in May for the show. And we're buying every day, Monday through Friday. We started with $5 a day, but we had to move it to $10 a day when we shifted over to Swan Bitcoin. If the price of Bitcoin is above our average buy price, we will buy $10 worth. If it's below, we'll buy $15 worth. If it's below our all-time lowest purchase, then we'll buy $25 worth. Okay? That is the game. That is the plan. That is the show's investment plan, I guess. So that's our show's investment. What do you call it? Plan or strategy? The strategy is based on the idea that we think Bitcoin will continue to go up because the money printers don't stop. And as long as the US government continues to debase the dollar, it's going to take more weaker dollars to buy the same amount of Bitcoin in the future, because Bitcoin does not, because you can't inflate Bitcoin because there's only 21 million ever going to be in existence. So the reasoning, the logic here says that if the supply can never go up and the demand for an inflation hedge against the dollar continues to go up, and as more people discover it, more demand, supply cannot go up. So the only thing that can go up is the price. Okay, that's the idea. So we stack slow and steady, wins the race. We don't care what the price of Bitcoin is. We just reference it here in case you're new to this and you want to see fancy numbers. You want to see the numbers go up. The only number that counts, the only number that should matter going up is this one, is our SAT count. That's what the show is called, Stack Sats. Okay, so let me get this prepped. 7, 27, 3, 27, 23. All right. It's time for the it's time to stack some sats. All right, jump into our Swan Bitcoin account, !Swan in the chat if you want to go get set up. Buy now. I'll buy $10 worth of Bitcoin. Approximate Bitcoin price $29,325. Okay, that's good. Preview my buy. There it is. I'm gonna make my notes about today's episode. Today's episode 39. All right, I have my notes. Kill the music. Drum roll, please. We're about to stack some sats. We're buying $10 worth of Bitcoin. It's going to cost us 10 cents for this transaction. Dude, that was cool. It coordinated right with the drummer. The drummer started getting his wrist. The drummer's wrist started getting sore, and he stopped drumming right when the stack happened. So there it is. Just like that, we've stacked another $10 on the Stack Sats show. Now, we play some chill music, because after you stack and chill. Stack and chill. Q&A. Any questions? Do people play with this stuff? Oh yeah, saw it already. Yep. Definitely people do play with that, Captain Dan, and I don't recommend it. It's just I don't have that kind of bandwidth. I tried a while ago. Just doesn't make sense. You end up missing the big moves up, and then try to get back in, and then you go down. How many transactions happen worldwide? That's a really good question. Let's see. Average. I think it's probably on that board, actually. Let's see. Let's click on this board. Browser. Okay, so this board's got a lot of information. Let's just go through this board. Okay, so Bitcoin versus gold, market cap 4.30. Okay. Corporate treasuries. So the market cap of Bitcoin right now is 568 billion. So it's nothing compared to all the different asset classes that are out there right now. Where is it? Here we go. Ballpark. So that's Bitcoin. Oops. That's Bitcoin right there. We're at 500,000 now, right? 500 billion worth of I guess wealth stored in Bitcoin at this moment. But if you just get 1% out of all of these other ones, that'll make the price of Bitcoin pop, and that'll be enough to get your sats, to make your sats like go up in value like a lot. But let's go back to the original question. We have let's see, corporate treasury. Okay, supply. The current released supply is 19 million Bitcoin. Okay. Block height. Bitcoin network. Total capacity, total node, total channel, presence. Okay. Liquid transactions. Here we go. Total all-time transactions. Right. Okay. So about right now it's at about 5.2 transactions per second. Captain Dan. It's about 5.2 transactions per second. That's the current rate. Mining, hash rate, difficulty target, mining, having. Predicting it. Yes, good. There's a lot of good information in this chart. All-time high. Decline from all-time high. Interesting. A lot of cool stuff. So 5.2 transactions per second. What's that? How many seconds are in a day? Like let's see, where's my calculator? It's like 28. No. there's 86,400 seconds in a day. So we'll divide that by 5.2 seconds. And it's about 16,615 transactions per day. It's not bad. And I mean, you can see them come through. It's pretty wild. Constantly. Filling the next block and the next block. There's a block every 10 minutes. A block every 10 minutes. Right? It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the SATS show. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, hit subscribe. Say hello in the chat, and I'm gonna send you 1,000 sats right now, live during the show. I see there's 6 concurrent viewers. If that's you and you want to say hello, say hello. I'm gonna give you about a minute, so you can. Once you subscribe, it takes about a minute for you to chat, and once you chat, I'm gonna send you 1,000 sats right now over the Lightning Network. Easiest sats you've ever made. Hit me with the question, guys. Let's go. I'll hit you guys with a question. Do you guys need any help understanding how to self-custody your coin once you buy it? How to self-custody your sats once you get them? Okay. If you do, and you don't want to do it over the web, hit me up through the Discord. You guys have my contact info, and I'll help you get set up, because that's the most important part, is to take it into self-custody. Okay. It's pretty cool. It's cool to watch you guys start to get into it and understand it, and it makes me happy. Makes me happy to see you guys. Jean-Claude Van Damme. That inflation. Let's go. That's what I got. What else I got for you guys? Oops, that's just a browser. Just a browser. Anyway, all right. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys tomorrow, Friday, where we do what we do every day. Stack sats. Because stacking sats is awesome, and stacking dollars is bad for your wealth. Let's go. Don't smoke, it's bad for your health. Don't stack dollars, it's bad for your wealth.